Someone compliments your work. They tell you it's impressive, well done, exceptional. And instead of saying thank you and moving on, your mind immediately starts spinning. They're just being nice. They don't really mean it. Anyone could have done it better. Or maybe you accept the compliment outwardly, but internally, you're scanning their face for signs they're lying. You're replaying every mistake. You're waiting for them to realize you're not actually that good. This isn't humility. This isn't being realistic. This is the #1 sign you were raised by narcissistic parents. And here's what makes it devastating. You think this voice is you. You think everyone experiences this internal rejection of positive feedback, but they don't. Most people can receive a compliment, feel good about it, and move on. They don't spend hours deconstructing why they don't deserve it. That ability to internalize your own worth, to believe positive things people say about you, that's what narcissistic parenting steals from you. Today, we're going to break down exactly what the sign is, why it matters most, and how to start dismantling it. If you're ready to understand the invisible pattern controlling your life, do this. Subscribe, like this video, and drop one word in the comments. Enough. Because that's what you are. Enough. Not when you achieve more, not when you're perfect, right now. Let's begin. The #1 sign. The clearest indicator of narcissistic parenting is this: you cannot internalize your own worth. Not you have low self-esteem, that's too vague. This is specific. This is about what happens when you receive evidence that you're good, capable, valuable. Here's how it works in someone raised with healthy parenting. They do something well, they receive positive feedback. Their brain processes it as accurate data. They feel good. They integrate it into their self-concept. The validation sticks. Now, here's how it works for you. You do something well, you receive positive feedback. Your brain immediately rejects it. They're just being nice. They didn't see my mistakes. They have low standards. The positive feedback slides right off. It doesn't stick. It doesn't accumulate. No matter how much validation you receive, your internal sense of worth stays at 0. But negative feedback, that sticks. That accumulates. That gets added to the permanent record. You have a filter that only lets negative information through. Positive information bounces off. This is the signature of narcissistic parenting, because this specific pattern only develops when the people who were supposed to mirror your value instead reflected back criticism, disappointment, and conditional approval. How it gets installed. Let's talk about how narcissistic parents install this pattern. The moving goalpost. You're 7 years old. You bring home a 95% test score. You're proud. Your parent says, "What happened with the 5% you missed? If you'd studied harder, you could have gotten 100%. No celebration, no acknowledgement that 95% is excellent. The goalpost moves. As soon as you reach it, it shifts. You learn, no matter what I achieve, it's never good enough. The withholding of validation. You do something impressive, you're excited to share it, and they don't care. They're distracted, they change the subject, they find the flaw. You learn, my achievements don't matter. If even my parent can't celebrate me, my wins must not be worth celebrating. The conditional approval. Your parents' love fluctuates based on your performance. When you're achieving, making them look good, they're warm. But when you fail or disappoint, they withdraw, they get cold, they criticize. You learn love is conditional, worth is earned. I'm only as valuable as my last performance. This is the core programming. This is why you can't internalize worth, because you never developed an internal sense of value. You were never given unconditional love, the kind that says you're worthy just because you exist. How it shows up now. Let's get specific about how this pattern manifests in your adult life. Permanent imposter syndrome. You've accomplished things, maybe significant things, but you constantly feel like a fraud. You got the degree, but you feel like you tricked them. You got the job, but you're waiting for them to realize they made a mistake. No amount of experience convinces you that you know what you're doing, because your narcissistic parents taught you that your worth isn't based on reality, it's based on their assessment. And their assessment was always that you were falling short. Achievement emptiness. You work towards something, you achieve it, and instead of satisfaction, you feel nothing. You got the promotion, but within hours, you're thinking about the next level. The achievement doesn't count because you haven't arrived at some impossible final destination. You can't rest in your accomplishments because you were never allowed to as a child. Compliment deflection. Someone praises you and you physically cannot accept it. Oh, it was nothing. I just got lucky. Anyone could have done it. You deflect so automatically you don't realize you're doing it. But watch what happens in your body. There's discomfort, maybe panic. Compliments feel dangerous. They feel like traps. Better to reject them preemptively than to believe them and be devastated when they're taken away. Hypervigilance about perceptions. You're obsessed with what people think of you. Not in a vain way, in an anxious way. Did I say something stupid? Do they think I'm incompetent? Are they upset with me? You're constantly scanning for disapproval because disapproval from your narcissistic parent meant withdrawal of love. Can't tell if you're good. You genuinely cannot assess your own competence. You have no internal barometer. You ask for constant reassurance. Was that okay? Do you think this is good? Because you can't trust your own assessment. And even when they say yes, you don't believe them. Why this sign matters most. This is the foundation everything else sits on. All the other symptoms, people-pleasing, perfectionism, fear of failure, they all stem from this core wound. If you could internalize your worth, you wouldn't need to people-please. You'd know you're valuable regardless of approval. If you could internalize your worth, perfectionism wouldn't have the same grip. You'd know you're enough, even with flaws. This is the root. Everything else is branches. And here's what makes it most dangerous. It's invisible to you. It feels like reality, not like a pattern. You genuinely believe you're being objective when you reject compliments. It doesn't feel like a wound, it feels like truth. And this pattern regenerates all the other problems. You can work on people-pleasing, set boundaries, do years of therapy, but if you don't address this core inability to internalize worth, those patterns keep coming back. Why you can't just think your way out. You might think, okay, I see the pattern. I'll just start accepting compliments and believing I'm worthy. But it doesn't work that way. It's a nervous system problem. This pattern was installed before you had language. Your nervous system learned, believing I'm worthy leads to disappointment. It's safer to assume I'm not enough. This isn't happening in your thinking brain, it's in your survival brain, so you can't just decide to believe differently. The neural pathways are highways. You spent decades running the same program. Evidence of worth equals rejected. Those neural pathways are highways. Creating new pathways, evidence of worth equals considerate. Those are dirt roads you have to consciously choose. Change is possible, but it's not a matter of insight. It's repetition, practice, and deliberate rewiring. Your inner critic is her voice. That critical voice isn't yours. It's your narcissistic parent's voice, internalized so completely you think it's your own wisdom. And you can't fight it with logic because it operates on fear, on the fear of believing you're worthy and having that belief destroyed. The real healing path. So, what actually works? Recognize the pattern. When you dismiss a compliment, pause. Notice, there's that pattern again, the pattern where I reject positive information. Just see it, just name it. That's my narcissistic parent's programming, not my authentic assessment. Track the evidence you're rejecting. Every time someone compliments you, write it down. Every achievement, note it. You're creating an external record because your internal record is corrupted. Practice thank you and stop. Someone compliments you, just say thank you. Don't add, but it's not that great. Just thank you and shut up. You're breaking the automatic deflection pattern. It will feel fake. Do it anyway. Reparent yourself. Talk to yourself the way your narcissistic parent should have. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. At first, this feels ridiculous, but your nervous system responds. Over time, the internal parent becomes real. Get the right help. You need a therapist who understands narcissistic family systems, not just any therapist, someone who gets that this isn't about positive affirmations, it's about rewiring nervous system responses. Time and patience. This will take time. You'll have breakthroughs and backslides. That's normal. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is gradual improvement, slowly being able to internalize more of your worth. The truth you deserve. The inability to internalize your worth is not a character flaw. It's not you being realistic or humble. It's a wound caused by parents who couldn't see your worth, so you never learned to see it yourself. They taught you that worth is conditional, that you're only valuable as your last performance. But you're not a child anymore. You don't have to keep living inside their assessment. You are worthy. Not because you achieved something, not because you're perfect. You're worthy because you exist. That's it. Existence equals worth. The work now is to start believing that, not intellectually, but in your nervous system, in your body. The work is to catch yourself rejecting your worth and choose differently, to practice accepting positive information instead of dismissing it. This is hard work. Your nervous system will fight you because it's trying to protect you from pain. But you can do this. You can rewire this. You can become someone who knows their own worth. The child inside you who needed to hear, "You're enough," they're still waiting. You can give them that now. You can say, "You are enough. You always were. I see you now." And you can mean it. If this spoke to you, drop that word, enough. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's been rejecting their own worth for years. You are enough. Not someday, not when you achieve more. Right now, exactly as you are. Enough. Now, go practice believing it.